Guys, this November 2024, Sam Altman, in a sit-down interview with Y Combinator, just revealed 3 unbelievable things. Number 1, he says that OpenAI has the clarity on the path to AGI. Number 2, they know exactly what to build. And number 3, they're going to move fast. Sam Altman is extremely measured in the statements he shares on stage. So for him to drop something like this in a sit-down interview, well, I don't believe it's marketing gimmicks. I don't think it's hype. I don't think it's talk. In fact, others are confirming that everything Sam said in this interview matches the median view of OpenAI researchers that are on the ground floor of everything. Listen, you need to pay attention. And if there is one topic you drop everything to listen, learn about, dive into, and allow your mind to be challenged by, because what's involved in these topics are brand new situations and a brand new horizon for humanity, then I think the number one topic is this: AGI itself, and beyond that, ASI, artificial super intelligence. And real quick, if you're unfamiliar with either term, AGI is this idea of artificial general intelligence, where robots can complete most tasks as well as, if not better than a human. Artificial super intelligence is light years beyond that. We are literally going to have to ask ASI to quantify itself and explain itself to us. It will be an alien form of intelligence, not because it dropped out of the sky, but because we as humans, organic beings, will not understand the capabilities of ASI itself. Listen, when I tell you that there is no more important topic you could be studying than AGI and the advent of super artificial intelligence, I mean that. And I want you to look beyond just job automation, which is the main topic in the news, the main one that most people are afraid of. I want you to look beyond that and into a horizon that is hard to imagine. But much like the people in the medieval days couldn't even imagine what the internet was or coding a web page, well, we're going to have to use and tap into some pretty strong imaginative capabilities to picture a world of AGI and beyond, ASI. So back to today's topic. Did Sam Altman just confirm AGI in less than 12 months in 2025? Yeah, he did. And I cannot believe when I watched this interview for myself, the confidence with which he dropped.
We said from the very beginning we were going to go after AGI at a time when in the field you weren't allowed to say that, because that just seemed impossibly crazy.
I remember a rash of criticism for you guys at that moment.
We really wanted to push on that. And we were far less resourced than DeepMind and others. And so we said, okay, they're going to try a lot of things and we've just got to pick one and really concentrate. And that's how we can win here. Most of the world still does not understand the value of like a fairly extreme level of conviction on one bet. That's why I'm so excited for startups right now. It is because the world is still sleeping on all of this to such an astonishing degree.
This information, he did not crack a smile, neither did the host. They kept a cool, calm, confident composure. In a response to the host who asked, "What are you most excited by?" Sam's answer was AGI in 2025. Every response and reaction from there, well, the host took that like fact because Sam delivered it like fact. And I truly believe, after analyzing this interview and knowing all that OpenAI has on the line, whether Sam is somebody you like or you dislike, they have too much to lose for Sam to be dropping intel like that and lying about it. And this is why I will tell you over and over in every video I publish, hopefully in informational, educational, and even entertaining ways, that you need to pay attention to this. AGI isn't centuries away. It's not even decades away. It might literally be less than a year away, which means our world and how we work, how we function, how we live is about to change forever. That's not an overstatement. In fact, what's crazy is I believe that's an understatement about the world that's hurtling towards us. Something else that Sam said in this interview is that he believes the world is still sleeping on this information to a major degree. You know, I've seen some comments from you watching my videos here on YouTube that as you dive into the rabbit holes of AI, it seems that the availability of information on this topic and what you start to see in your feed here on YouTube, on X, just begins to grow. And you realize that the information out there on AI is abundant. You've never stepped foot into it. And my goal is that there are millions more that realize the same thing. I believe that we are afraid of what we don't know. And sometimes just shining a light on the unknown is enough to eliminate fear. In essence, fear is nothing more than this: false evidence appearing real. When I learned that acronym about 5 years ago, I sat down and analyzed every situation I ever had fear and terror over. And what's crazy is that statement is true to a large extent. Fear is false evidence appearing real. I was once trapped in a home life that was horrible. I thought it was the only reality I would ever know. I got out in the middle of the night and I completely changed my life. I had $75 to my name, clothes on my back. I built a brand new life from scratch and ended up being a CEO with 100 people in my company before I turned 30. So let me tell you, even the situation you find yourself in right now that might feel like something you are locked into, something you cannot break free from, well, you can. Everything in this life is in your control. You were born with free will, a soul, and even the means to make your dreams come true. But what we all tend to forget is that it's up to us to take that first step into the unknown. What's the best way you could do that? By shining a light on the unknown so you know where your feet are going. All right, that's a bit of a tangent and a rabbit hole, but it is super related to this topic. So when Sam dropped these bombs from stage on this interview with Y Combinator, which was over 45 minutes long, he said that the path to AGI is going to go a lot faster than people even appreciate or understand right now. This is the CEO of a platform that gained over 100 million users in its first month of adaptation. ChatGPT was literally one of the world's fastest adapted to technologies ever. When you put that into context, and then you put what Sam Altman said on stage this November, which was that the world is sleeping on this to a large extent, it just goes to show that we as a collective, that's me, that's you listening to this video, have a lot of work to do to tell people what is on the horizon. If people are in the dark, then they really will get easily taken over by fear, which stems from the unknown when massive job loss starts to happen. Shining a light on what is really happening is now part of my life goal. It's why I host Leaders of AI, a podcast that we believe will be one of the best ones out there on the topic of where AI is now and where it's going. Couldn't do that without my co-host David Shapiro. If you haven't subbed to that podcast, definitely do so. But beyond me, beyond Dave, beyond all the other AI voices out there, we still need more. I love when some of you get so inspired after hearing me talk about this that you hop on Instagram, you go tell your friends, you go create posts about the future, and you tell people what's possible now. One of the best things you could ever do is just show people what ChatGPT can do. Open it up on your phone, have a voice conversation, ask it to take a transcription and write an amazing article in seconds. When people see, they believe. And seeing the capabilities of AI is the quickest way to understand what's coming towards us. Now, before we go too much further into this video, I want to share with you what Sam actually said on stage. You need to listen to these clips.
Let's talk about your newest essay on the age of intelligence. Is this the best time ever to be starting a technology company?
Let's at least say it's the best time yet. Hopefully there'll be even better times in the future. I sort of think with each successive major technological revolution, you've been able to do more than you could before. And I would expect the companies to be more amazing and impactful and everything else. So yeah, I think it's the best time yet. Big companies have the edge when things are like moving slowly and not that dynamic. And then when something like this or mobile or the internet or the semiconductor revolution happens, or probably like back in the days of the Industrial Revolution, that was when upstarts have their edge. So yeah, this is like, and it's been a while since we've had one of these, so this is like pretty exciting.
In the essay, you actually say a really big thing, which is ASI, superintelligence, is actually thousands of days away.
Maybe. I mean, that's our hope, our guess, whatever. But that's a very wild statement.
Yeah. Tell us about it. I mean, that's big. That is really big.
I can see a path where the work we are doing just keeps compounding, and the rate of progress we've made over the last 3 years continues for the next 3 or 6 or 9 or whatever. 9 years would be like 3,500 days or whatever. If we can keep this rate of improvement or even increase it, like that system will be quite capable of doing a lot of things. I think already, even a system like O1 is capable of doing like quite a lot of things from just like a raw cognitive IQ on a closed-end, well-defined task in a certain area. I'm like, O1 is like a very smart thing. And I think we're nowhere near the limit of progress.
Here you go, some of the most important clips from his interview with Y Combinator. When Sam talks about this jump, this hyper speed between models and the growth in capabilities, that is 100% true. We went from GPT-3 in 2020 to GPT-4 this year, 2024, to O1 with reasoning, Claude having computer use, the capability to look at your screen and interpret and do tasks, image generators like Flux Laura, which can recreate an image of me that looks exactly like me and put it in almost any setting imaginable, video generation from super high quality AI generated images, on and on. We have seen hypergrowth in 2024 that is unbelievable. I think one of the biggest gaps missing, and this is what my goal at First Movers is all about solving, is there's this giant gap between the integration and the use and meeting all the goals we have in marketing sales departments with the tools, the AI capabilities out there. That gap is one of the biggest divides that has almost ever existed in the adoption of any technology to date. The amount of people that don't even know that ChatGPT exists, or if they do, how to use it correctly, is larger than I would ever imagine, especially at a point in time where we've had the growth of technology for such a sustained short period of time, but a lack of the adoption of that technology into real world scenarios, which is why that gap exists. The AI consultancy opportunity is going to be over $60 billion, and that's the low end. Some say it could 10x that. I've been talking to AI consultants as I build out First Movers, which is a high-end AI integrations company that's on the back end of what we sell. That's going to be primarily how we drive the First Movers engine ship forward. I believe without hands-on integration and understanding how to close that gap, then I can't really teach you, help you bring that knowledge to the general public. Along with that high-end integration, we're going to teach everything we're integrating in a school that will be extremely wide market friendly. It won't be the cheapest school you ever saw, but my goal is it will be the best school out there in the form of a membership where we release courses every single week. We build a new bot, we drop that in the school. This is what we're building at First Movers. My goal is to close this gap that exists, and maybe you can join me, be a part of it, whether it's a client, a student, a mentor at First Movers. We're going to have all kinds of opportunities as I build this out to close that gap yourself. The biggest risk I see is the one of not adapting, because then we actually get left behind. And that is not a place I want any marketer, writer, creator, business owner, student, you name it. I don't want anyone left in that place, because this future is so incredibly bright, and adapting brings us a world of opportunities. If AGI is in fact either already here, like some say, episode 3 of Leaders of AI with ex-military ops Charles Sears was all about that topic. He said AGI is already here. It just hasn't rolled out to the public. And I'll tell you, that's a very logical, viable situation. Beyond that, if it's true that AGI is coming in 2025, like Sam Altman said, well, the implications of AGI being here sooner rather than later are huge. Dave Shapiro, leading economist, and I are actually working on an economic model that can be applied directly to the new post-labor society, rather than waiting around hoping for this thing to sprout out of the ground, out of some nation or governance body. We're just going to go build it, put it in a book, teach it, create grassroots movements around it. When you study history, the best answers have come from industries, experts, innovators. I think the worst thing we could do is sit around and wait on government to align with the future of a post-labor economy. The implications of AGI here sooner rather than later are going to hit the economy on a grand scale. We're going to see mass labor automation. We're also going to see the creation of new jobs come about. We're going to see society itself impacted, education, healthcare, scientific discovery, new opportunities and innovation, and then personal opportunity. Sam Altman has this running bet with a pool of other founders on who will be the first one-person startup valued at $1 billion. But that's the kind of opportunity available to us with smart automation. It's pretty incredible. But the implications of AGI here sooner rather than later are actually hard to quantify because it will touch so many things. And most of you watching this video are pretty smart, you know this, but once AGI is here, well, the journey to ASI begins. And that journey is short. And when ASI is here, we will literally have autonomous, self-sustaining, automated engines that could run countries, businesses, districts, health systems, on and on and on. Better than a human could ever dream of. It could solve its own energy crisis, come up with something so much better than our current power grid, and have it built in a day. Imagine living in a world where that's possible. That is a true era of abundance. But to get there, we've got to build up economic agency within individuals. We've got to deprogram that our only worth and our inherent value comes from our economic productivity, because that argument is completely moot when it's automation producing productivity. And then we've got to create decentralized systems so that we can have AGI and ASI at scale, but not run from overly centralized, small groups where a lot of power goes and a lot of opportunity for corruption. And that is why a lot of experts and I and my podcast co-host Dave believe that decentralization will be a vehicle to this new era. All right, so that was quite a rabbit hole within rabbit holes. If you watch this whole video, I commend you. You are here for the future of this, and that definitely takes a strong and courageous heart. But remember what Mark Twain said about courage. It is not the absence of fear, it's the resistance to and the mastery over fear. Remember that if you are a human, you are endowed with something no machine will ever have. And I believe that is a soul. That is something we never earned. We were simply given that at birth. And if automation can remove all the minutia and all the tasks that keep us away from being souls in the universe together, well, I see that as a beautiful thing. And I'm excited for what is to come and to help shape this future. We need more voices adding to this conversation. We need more knowledge to close that gap between all the goals, work, opportunity, marketing, sales, etc., and all the AI capabilities, tools, the ways you can train bots, LLMs, etc. We need to close that gap. And that's one of my primary goals at First Movers. Super quick, I want to drop in that I am no longer writing or releasing Upskill, which is a book I announced a couple months ago that was going to come out at the end of 2024 with a co-author I am no longer associated with. That book I am no longer writing, but I wanted to share that right now, my 9th book is available for pre-order. And no, it's not the one I'm writing with Dave Shapiro, although that one is in progress as well. That's called The Great Decoupling, and oh my gosh, I can't wait till that book is in your hands. It is a weapon of mindset and physical preparation for what's coming. But the book right now available for pre-order on my Amazon profile is called Fluid, The Adaptability Code, Breaking Free from AI Fear to Own Your Future. I consider myself one of the most adaptable humans on earth. When I was 21 years old, I left a cult I was born into in the middle of the night to start a brand new life. Across the next 10 years, I became a partner, a parent, and the creator of several businesses, one of which was a 100-person human writing agency that sold in 2021. Yes, right before ChatGPT came out in 2022. I saw the writing on the wall with GPT. I got out. I adapted yet again. I've been studying the science of human adaptability. Authors like Peter Diamandis, his book Abundance, have made a great impression on me. And I think even more relevant and important than physical tips on how to upskill in your industry is the overall importance of adaptability. How do you see AI and your future? Do you have the right adaptation mindset? This book will be full of case case studies, my own personal story of adaptation, how I've done it several times over, and how you can be not just an early adapter, but a first mover, which also coincides perfectly with the mission of my AI company, firstmovers.ai. I can't wait to share this book with you. Right now, it is available for pre-order, so you can go check it out on Amazon. Fluid, the Adaptability Code by Julia McCoy. You can learn more about what we're building as we build it out at firstmovers.ai. And as always, hit subscribe here on YouTube at Julia McCoy, and I look forward to seeing you down the next rabbit hole.